If you are sending emails consistently, but they are not turning into clients, this video is for you. And I want to say this very clearly right out the gate. The problem is not that you are bad at emailing, and it's not that email marketing is dead. In fact, on the contrary, I am signing so many clients just from my email. The real issue you are facing, and what most coaches and consultants, service providers face when using email, is that they use email as content instead of using it as a strategy. So today I want to walk you through why email is one of the most important assets you can build as a business owner, especially as a coach, a consultant, or a service provider, especially when we know that we do not own social media platforms. Okay. And then I'm going to show you exactly how high converting emails work, including the metrics that matter and the ones you should stop obsessing over. I cannot tell you the number of people that come into my consult calls and they tell me their numbers and they tell me all of these things they're tracking about emails, and none of those have a direct impact on dollars made, because ultimately, as a business owner, we want to be able to see how emails affect our bottom line. That's the whole point. How much money we're able to make when we invest in email marketing. Clients do not come from clever subject lines. They come from trust, clarity, and repeated agreement with how you think. Okay. So, first of all, why is email a strategy that you must prioritize? Okay. So, let's start with the big picture, because this is where most people get email wrong. Email is not just another marketing channel. Email is a business asset. And the biggest reason it matters is because it can be so simple, but some people complicate emails. Okay. But here's the thing, we do not own social media platforms. So, regardless of the platforms you use, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, any of the other platforms, I don't know. I know there are many, many more social media platforms I might not know about. You do not own those platforms, right? So LinkedIn can somehow decide tomorrow that they're going to shut down. Instagram can shut down tomorrow. In fact, I have had people tell me that their accounts were just shut down on Instagram and on Facebook without any explanation. Okay, so it can happen. And these are accounts of high profile people. When I say high profile, I mean high profile people in business. Okay. So if you rely on social media platforms as your way of generating business, then you are putting all your eggs in one basket. So email marketing is very, very key. The other thing is, when people read your emails, they are in a quieter mode, right? When you compare that to social media, right? Now, when people are on social media, I feel like they are on social media to escape, and they're always looking for the next thing because they are scrolling and scrolling. They're looking for distraction, to distract them either from work or from stress, loneliness, anxiety, whatever they are trying to escape from. They go to social media to escape. Emails, on the other hand, are usually read in a quieter mode. Like when someone opens their email, the mindset is usually different. Okay. Email is stable, email is direct, because when you post on Instagram, people feel like you're posting to everybody, but when you send people an email, it has this personal connection. It allows you to lead with value and form connection. So email is highly, highly necessary if you want to sell high ticket. Also, high ticket clients don't make decisions in a fast, noisy environment, right? If you sell 5K, 10K programs, people don't decide when they're in a noisy environment like on Instagram. I feel like people make decisions in a quieter when they feel like they're safe to make that investment. And emails is a safe space. You can actually create a safe space for your audience to be able to decide whether to work with you or not, okay? In the context of them reading your emails. It has this personal connection. When people read your emails, they are connecting with who you are. Okay. Many times people are, like I said, in a quiet place. They are able to think about their goals in a more future forward way. Okay. Compared to social media. Now, here's what I want you to remember. Social media gets you the attention. Emails creates safety. Now, you might be asking that, how do I create an email list? Okay, so if you're watching this video or listening to this podcast and you do not have an email list, the best way to create an email list is to give something away for free. And that's usually a lead magnet, or like you can call it a freebie. Okay, so something you give to your target audience for free that they are so excited to receive that they give you their email in exchange for. Okay, so that's how you start your email list. Now, I want to tell you something. Your email list size doesn't matter. In fact, I made my first 10K with only 50 people on my email list. So I do not want you to start worrying about the size of your email list. Okay, please do not worry about the size of your email list. When it comes to email marketing, quality matters more than quantity. Okay, so I want to tell you why your emails aren't converting. So now let's talk about the real reasons why your emails aren't converting. It's not because of your subject lines. It's not because you're not emailing often enough. And it's not because your email list is too small. Emails don't convert where there are no specific conversion logic behind them. Okay, the reason your email isn't converting is because there is no specific conversion logic behind the way you send your emails. Okay, here's what I see most often. Coaches and service providers treat email like a newsletter. They share tips, they share updates, they use it to stay in touch. But there is no positioning, there is no leadership, there is no belief shift. Or on the other end of the spectrum, they disappear for weeks and suddenly show up asking people to buy from them. And that doesn't work. People don't buy because of just one good email. They buy after repeated exposure to how you think, after they start to agree with your perspective, with your thought process, after they see the way you think, after they see the way you solve problems, they begin to feel stable, they begin to feel safety around investing in your programs or in your services. Now, people convert from repeated exposure. Okay, you're not trying to persuade people. You want to create a space where people feel aligned to work with you. I'm going to give you an example. So I now sign people through my email list, and I have a specific way that I achieve that. Okay. When someone comes on my email list for the first time, usually it is that they are downloading a lead magnet or they are attending a free workshop. At the point someone gets on my email list, I give them the lead magnet. So I deliver the free gift. And then there is a follow-up email about an hour later. Okay. This is an email where I introduce myself and humanize myself and then invite them to respond. Okay. And over 25% of people respond to my email, that specific email where I introduce myself. So if you're on my email list, you know exactly what I'm referring to. This is that in that email, I give my background story, why I'm doing what I'm doing, my values, my passion, my vision. Okay. So in that email, people get to connect with me and people tell me they feel like they know who I am just from reading that one email. Now, the way my email is set up is that I have an automation that runs that checks if someone has received that story email. So I call it my story email. Okay. So the reason I have that automation is because I don't want people to keep getting the introductory email every single time they download a lead magnet, right? So right now I have over 9 lead magnets in my ecosystem. So if someone downloads lead magnet A, I don't want them to then get the same introductory email when they download Lead Magnet B. Okay, so I have that automation set up. So essentially, when people get into your email list, you need to introduce yourself and humanize yourself. Let them get to know who you are. Let them get to understand your vision, the way you think, how you can help them, why you are best positioned to help them get the transformation you know you can help them get. Okay, so that's one thing I do. Also, I have a nurture sequence. So, a nurture sequence is a way for me to keep giving value, almost like nurturing the relationship. So, think about this. When you meet someone for the first time, if you're dating, you don't expect the guy to ask you to marry them on the first date, right? You expect that the relationship will be nurtured over time, and then when the time is right, then you both commit and then you sign on the dotted lines. Okay, that's how it works. In the same way, as a business owner, when someone comes into your world for the first time, you don't expect them to spend thousands of dollars with you, even though it has happened in my case. But it rarely happens. Okay, the normal trajectory is for people to meet you for the first time and then get to know you, and then over time, maybe a couple of weeks or a couple of months, then they decide that you are the person to take them to the promised land. Okay, that's a description I like to use, because as business owners, we are solving problems. So I always tell my clients, think about taking people from where they are now to where they want to be. The place they want to be is called the promised land. Okay, so your emails need to be able to show them how you can take them from where they are to where they want to be. Okay, so let's talk about how to create emails that convert. This is where I want you to understand a very simple framework. Okay, a very simple framework you can use. And I call this the 80-20 framework. And what that means is 80% of the time you are giving value. Okay, because think about it. If you join an email list and every single day they're sending you sales email and constantly telling you to buy from them, chances are you're going to unsubscribe, right? People don't want to feel like they're just a number on your email list. People want to feel like they are a human being and you treat them like a human being. And so, what does that mean? It means that 80% of the time, you are serving, you are giving value. And then the remaining 20% of the time, you are inviting people to come work with you. Okay, so 80% giving value and then 20% invitation to come work with you. Now, I want you to think about this. Instead of just giving tips, how can you make it more relational? Okay, so and this is how I describe it to my clients. Think about the people on your email list as a human. Okay. So I always like to think about, I call my, I see Naomi. Okay. So name your ideal client avatar, give it a name. So when I sit to write emails, I'm always thinking about Naomi. And I ask myself, what's Naomi thinking right now? How can I best serve Naomi right now? And I always use stories. I use storytelling to connect with my audience. And the feedback, the replies I get from people, in fact, a couple of weeks ago, someone replied and said she was emotional reading my emails because of how my email connected with her. That's the kind of response you want to get. And you don't get that by using AI, right? You need to be able to connect at a human level with the people on your email list. And only when they feel connection, when they feel safety, when they feel like you know them, when they feel like you see them, when they feel like you understand them, only then are they comfortable investing thousands of dollars in your programs and services. So think of your email list as the best asset, the best business asset in your business. And when you nurture your email list, anytime you want to sell, it's going to be a lot easier for you. Let's say you come up with a new offer, it's easier for you to sell when you've nurtured that email list, when people know you, they don't feel like you see them as an ATM machine. Okay. So that's how I want you to think about it. So think about the 80-20 framework, which is 80% of the time you're giving value and only 20% of the time are you selling to people. Now, I want to cover the email metrics that actually matter. Okay, because I see so many coaches, consultants, and service providers struggling to know what to track, right, when it comes to email marketing. Now, the first metric I want you to start tracking is your open rate. Why is open rate important? Well, the open rate tells us whether your subject line is even interesting enough for people to want to open the email. Okay, so that's the number one. How often do people open your emails? And you can get all of these metrics from your email marketing provider. So I use Go High Level and I can see all of my metrics. So it doesn't matter the email marketing tool you have, many of the big names have these metrics. So for each email you send, you can see all of your metrics. So the first metric I want you to track is your open rate. How many people open your emails? If you find out not many people are opening your emails, then your subject line is the problem, right? Because the only job of the subject line is to get people to click open. Okay, so if people aren't opening your emails, it means that your subject lines need a little bit of work. Okay, now the next metric I want you to track is your reply rate. How many people reply to your email? Right? When your reply rate is high, it means people are engaging with your content. Now, if you are not inviting people to reply, I want you to start inviting people to reply. Okay? Now, there is one reason why this is so important. Apart from gauging the quality of your messaging and the quality of your content, your email content, one advantage of getting people to reply is that it trains the ESPs to see your emails as valuable. So when I say ESPs, I mean email service providers like Gmail, Yahoo, and all the other ones, Hotmail, Outlook. When people reply to your email, it tells Gmail to always send your email to the inbox, the primary inbox, instead of the promotions or the spam folder. Okay, so I want you in your emails, I want you to start inviting people to respond back to you. And I want you to start tracking your reply rate. Your reply rate tells you how engaged your audience is to your content. The other metric you need to track is your click through rate. How many people click through in your emails, right? So remember that your emails have, well, the 20% of the time you're selling, you're inviting people to take action, whether that is to book a consult call with you, a strategy call, or a clarity call, or a sales call. Doesn't matter what you call the call. You need to track how many people actually click through the email. The other thing is inviting people to a workshop, right? So you could be hosting a free workshop or a masterclass, and then you send out an email. You need to track how many people click through to take action. The other thing I do in my emails is all of my emails have the links to all my social media, including my YouTube channel. So that's one way I track how often people click those links. Now, after your click through rate, the last the last metric I want you to track, and this is the most important, how many clients do you sign from those emails? How many sales conversations do you have from those emails? Now, when people come on calls with me and they sign up and they say, "Oh, I have been reading your emails," or I understand how you think," or "Your emails really land for me," that's how you know that your emails work. Okay. So the most important metric for you to track as a business owner, especially when it comes to email marketing, is how much sales are you making from your emails? That's the ultimate goal. Now, having said all of this, I don't want you to do email marketing in isolation. Okay. Email marketing is part of a larger sales system. So I'm going to explain what that means. Now, I have my 4+1 fully booked formula. It's the exact formula I teach my clients to get them fully booked. There are 4 things we do every week, and then 1 thing we do every month to get us fully booked. If you haven't watched that video, I'm going to link that video in the description below. And then you're going to see how emails is part of the overall sales system. Okay, so grab the 4+1 fully booked formula. Email is just one part of the system. Okay, so I want you to treat your emails as part of a larger system. It supports your overall sales system. It's not a standalone, it supports the overall sales system. Now, if you are struggling to sign clients through your emails, this is one thing I help my clients with. This is the exact kind of thing I help my clients install. Install your email system so that your email brings in predictable sales every single month, right? So remember, I told you this is part of my 4+1 fully booked formula. I'm going to help you install your entire client acquisition system, and emails is just one of them so that you can finally have predictable income in your business. If you are ready to explore what that looks like, just DM me on Instagram or on LinkedIn and I'll send you the details. I am so excited because I've enjoyed creating my emails. Now, you might be asking, how often should you email your email list? Well, I recommend you start with 3 emails per week. So you may do Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday, 3 times per week. Some coaches that I follow recommend every single day. I'm not there. I'm not there yet. I'm still at 3 times a week. And I think this is working fine for me. I'm getting responses to my emails. I'm getting people to attend my workshops. They are booking calls. So I don't want to overwhelm my list. Okay. So I recommend start with 3 times a week and see how the flow works for you. You can get to every single day of the week, Monday to Friday, depending on your personal preference. But right now, I am fine with 3 times a week. If you are ready to finally have a repeatable, predictable business, I can help you install an email system as part of your overall client acquisition system. If you are ready for that, if you're finally ready to start making money consistently in your business, send me a DM and I'll tell you exactly how I can help you. If this video has helped you today, please leave a comment below if you're watching on YouTube. If you are on the podcast, head on over to YouTube, leave me a comment, leave me a review on Apple Podcast and Spotify, and I respond to all of my reviews and all of my comments. I will see you back here in the next video.
Hi, my name is Jill Davenport, and I just had a session with Joy. And I have to say, she's so innovative and gave me so many ideas for not only my email list and like creating a welcome sequence that I have been snoozing on. And she had all these great new ideas for doing this and for implementing it that make it really easy. And for actually like creating relationships in the welcome sequence and bringing in sales. But she also had really great ideas for to implement about bringing in new clients from different streams that I hadn't thought of before. And she's actually really advanced about this stuff and creating systems in your business and just coming up with new ideas that I hadn't thought of. And I have been marketing my business online since 2012. Yeah, so it was incredible. I can't wait to go and implement the things that we talked about. So if you are looking for help with your business and getting a flow of clients in and actually like getting the people to convert with your email list, among other things. She's got so many things to offer. Um, I think you're going to be in good hands with Joy.